just got done building. It truly is something, a sight to see, and very powerful indeed. What's behind this build? So yeah, so let's jump right into it. See what I'm working with, right? Alright, let me jump over here. Alright, so for my hard points, we definitely have 4 and 3C. For 4 and 3, as you can see, you have 2 multi-cannons. The first modification that I did to it, obviously it is stripped down right now, but what I'm really going for at this moment in time is I'm going to try to engineer it to an oversize. The reason that I'm going to have the experimental effect on oversize, and you'll see how it kind of all works out in a minute. Let's see here. Oversized. Here we go. Is the reason I have it on oversized is because it's an experimental. The weapon itself, like the oversized weapon, which is 4A, will deal 3% more damage per second, drawing 5% more power. And you'll see why. I mean, obviously you can see where my power is. I mean, it's at 47.50 with the Guardian power plant that I have on it right now. And then for my multi-cannons, the modifications on it right now, stripped down. I'm just trying to lower the mass as much as possible right now because I am covering such a heavy load in a lot of ways. But when I get back down, I kind of get the components to it and everything else like that. I'll head back to the engineer and I'll put the experimental effect on for multi-servos. And I'll explain why that's a pretty good one to use here in a second. Looking at my source of research information. Yeah, so the multi-servos, what this does is it offers a 3% increase in rate of fire at the cost of 5% increase in power draw. Like I said, I don't really have to worry about the power draw because of where my wattage is. But yeah, so that's something I'm going to do as well. I mean, I want to increase rate of fire just to keep doing as much damage as possible. I thought about it in long ways. Instead of making this an efficient weapon, I thought about making it a long-range weapon for the multi-cannons. Because I literally have to be like right up on top of someone. What you're seeing here in a second is that my pulse lasers, they're all sitting on top of my ship at this moment in time. As you can tell. The reason I have that for there is for a few reasons. One is that my pulse lasers up on top, I'm always going to be normally facing the direction of the target than being up underneath the ship. So this helps out a lot because this is where all my shields are, this is where my modules are. It protects the top of the ship. So that is a huge thing. That's why I have my pulse lasers on top, and I also pop a lot of shield banks and stuff like that as well. I probably maybe totally burnt that out, but anyway, let's get back to it again. So yeah, so for my pulse lasers, for the 2 big boys right now, I think I should already have it. Yeah, so I just stripped that down. Just kind of trying to lower the mass as much as possible. And of course, it also increases. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make this Joker light as possible so I can flip this up as fast as I can during combat with my thrusters. Alright, so let's go to this modification. Alright, so flow control. Oh, I love flow control. It just takes away from it. so much of the power draw. I'm just dropping it. Just trying to drop. The reason I want the power draw low is because I'm trying to be cold at the same time. Yeah, I got thermal shock on my small lasers. And these have increased rapid of fire, and the reason for this is because I want that debuff. I want that debuff to hit the target. Like, that's what I want. And I want it to cause, like, strike seals and holes and impart additional heat into the target. So I'm trying to get as much thermal damage as I can in there. And then on my other debuff laser, I have scramble spectrum. And that's just try to randomly, random malfunctions on the target, whatever it may be. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a weapon. It could be various. It's random as far as the modules go. And then, of course, so with the multi cannons underneath the back, those are what my two pulse lasers are doing. And I have engineered on my multi-cannons as well. I got incendiary rounds. All I'm doing is I'm pumping full of thermal damage at them. I'm just dumping thermal damage at them. And I think this one's corrosive rounds. So yeah, just tear them apart. Just weakening that hole. Because the minute I put these two bad boys on them right here, that is going to shred them. It's going to be over, especially if my power distributor is pushed all the way over on my weapon system. Alright, so yeah, so that's pretty much our hard points for my utility mounts. I have the heat sinkers. This is going to really come in huge handy for when I'm firing off my multi-cannons, or if I'm taking thermal damage. I can fire these off. I think I have a total of 6. 2, 4, 6. Oh, sorry, 8. I have a total of 8 heatsink launchers, and I'll show you my fire groups and how I set that up as well here in a minute. My shield boosters are engineered right now, and for right now, I think that's what I wanted was super capacitors. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, so on one of these, I am going to put a flow control in. As you can see, the reasons why I have superior capacitors on. And I will kind of share some information with you on that. Let's see here. Yeah, so pretty much the shield, the super capacitors, it increases my shield boost by 7.68% at the cost of 2% kinetic, thermal, and explosive resistance. That's okay, because you're going to see here in a minute, I'm about to get that right back. At the cost of 2%, yeah. So yeah, so as you can see, like, there's the stats for that. Yeah, I mean, I took away a little bit. Let's see here. So yeah, so I mean, it went up 4.7%. I lose it on the back end for this modification. I guess because I'm trying to increase the thermal resistance as well as the integrity. So, I mean, I took a little bit of a hit, but I mean, it's still like, at least 3% more higher. Yeah, so all my shield boosters are pretty much double braced. There is one that I'm looking for. I have to get flow control on one of these. By the way, if you see different modules on here, the reason these experimental effects are different and not the same is because you can't stack it. So I can't have like 2 super capacitors or anything like that. You can't stack that at all. So it's only one experimental effect does that. So it has to be something different. And I think, yeah, I think on one of these shield boosters I wanted flow control, and I think I've already kind of explained why I wanted that on there, but if not, maybe I'll just go ahead and review it again, in case you're wondering. Yeah, so like I was saying, the flow control, the reason, remember when I was talking about earlier about the par hour draw that I was taking um, from my hard points, that obviously is going to go away because now I've stuck this flow control in there and it's going to reduce power draw of that module by 10%. So it's gonna come right back down. I don't even think it was above 10%. I think it was lower than 10%. I could be wrong, but if not, it's still gonna bring it down. So it's not a big deal. Yeah, resistant on mag. So pretty much all I've been doing is I just been putting kinetic resistance, thermal resistance, explosive resistance, just doing as much as possible with my shields, so they don't get hit. But it's just going to take a lot. And of course, there's another heat seek launcher. Alright, so for my core, this is something I'm going to kind of go play with. I want to see how well I do in combat. Because right now I'm pretty light. I'll probably see whether or not if I can get some composite armor. I mean, I'm pretty light right now. I mean, like, I'm almost to half mass, but totally far up there, and I don't. We'll see. We'll go play with that here in a second. I might have to look up something. So yeah, so I have my Guardian power plant. As you can see here, that's what's giving me the max wattage. Definitely highly recommend getting that. Of course, my thrusters are 7B. Right. I'm still looking for a 7A. We're gonna find it though, I'm sure. So right, so here's my thrusters. And the modifications that I made to it is clean driving tuning. And the yeah, so that's pretty much what I just improves the mass, makes me a little bit more bulkier, I can carry a little bit more weight. But I think I was gonna change that. Oh yeah, I was gonna change it to a thermal spread, and I'll explain that here in a minute. Or the thrusters. Right, was that what I'm looking at? Drive distributors. Sorry, excuse me. Shield boosters, security. Let me see. Yeah, thermal spread. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so I'm probably going to change that to thermal spread. So what it does is it decreases the thermal load, whereas for power plants it lowers the heat efficiency value. The net effect for all is to lower the heat generation. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm doing. I want to lower the heat because I want to stay as cold as possible while doing as max damage because I am heavy, um, and I'm pretty much I'm an easy target. But if I can keep my ship cold and if small ships try to shoot me from far away, they're not going to be able to lock on to me because obviously if you're having assisted gimbal tracking weapon systems, um, you're only going to, um, yeah. Yeah, if you're having assistant tracking gimbal systems, you're not going to be able to lock onto the target. It's all based off of heat proficiency. So as long as I'm keeping my heat ship cold, which I am with the heat sinks, it's going to be very hard for small ships to attack me from far away. They're going to have to come up close. And for them to come up close is kind of dangerous because I do have those multi-cannons. Now, I can take down a shield pretty quick. I do have long-range pulse users that do take down the ships pretty quick. So, I don't really think we have... Of course, it's 8A power distributor. It's probably a good thing. Flow control on that. That doesn't really affect my weapons capacity. It might... Well, I guess I'm gonna probably have, yeah, I'll probably have lower flow control again on the other one, like I was talking about. Just 2 modifications to it. That might change now that I saw that, so that's something I'll have to go back and revisit. Alright, so let's go into optionals. Alright, of course I got my 7A shield generator. Modifications, multi-weave, as you can see the stats with the power draw. Don't really care about the power draw because, you know, like I said, I got enough wattage. It will take a little bit longer for it to regenerate, but I mean, like, look at the kinetic resistance, look at the thermal resistance, look at the explosive resistance. I mean, the only way how it's going to really attack me is by thermal damage inside. It's going to be very hard to penetrate through my shield. Plus, not only that, I got the shield banks backing me up. So if I lose a bar, boom, I hit a bar, you know, and then I mean, all I'm going to do with these shield banks is I'm just going to keep reinforcing my shields. And I'll shove it over into systems on my power distribution, and within like 5 seconds I'll be back at full strength. So no worries there. And then I have my fighter. This Guardian Trident fighter, oh man, it is such a blessing to have. And it actually, for some reason or another, the targets actually get scrambled, and it's kind of like they're in dead space. And I definitely highly recommend, if you don't have this, definitely go after the Guardian fighter. It's worth it, and it's some pretty cool scenery. Alright, so I have a Guardian Shield reinforcement package in the 5th slot as well, and this is just going to help me out, just reinforce those shields. So you can see 215. Add a hull reinforcement, see the kinetic resistance, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Another Guardian hull reinforcement package, just trying to get more of that thermal resistance. You know, just even if I am getting attacked past my shield, I'm still being protected. You know, no matter what. So it's just going to take them a minute to get to me. And then I have module protection, just more security for what I'm doing right now. Because I am alone, I am really in heavy combat mode. If my boys were here right now, I'd kind of show you a different setup I would do. More guard shield reinforcement, just stacking. Just stacking, that's all I'm doing. Add another hull. Just making myself tanky. And so yeah, so that's basically my build setup for my Anaconda. And but yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, want to add some things maybe to this, please feel free. Give me a subscribe, guys, and hopefully I hope you enjoyed this video. Talk to y'all later next time.